Hello, my people. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. Hello, my people. Happy Tuesday. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2026. Yes, I'm going to be that person and say the last time I spoke to you was last year. So, major life updates. I survived December and I survived the holidays. Please don't mistake me for one kind of Grinch person. I enjoy Christmas. I really do. Like, as a believer, Christmas is significant and meaningful to me. And as a human being, in fact, the holiday itself is just wonderful. Like the Santa Claus, gift giving, Christmas trees, the carols, all of that. But still, please don't come for me. This season as a whole is kind of a lot. There's festivals, family reunions, services, activity. There's just so much hubbub, so much buzz. I've never properly figured out where I stand on the introvert-extrovert scale, but when it comes to like festivities and all of that, I think I lean towards the introvert side. Yes. Visiting with family and friends, entertaining loved ones, going out to have fun, Christmas cantatas, fun fairs, theme parks. I've done all of these over the years and they've always been great. They've always been memorable, fun. But like I often find myself having to refresh at the end of it all, having to like reset, recuperate, in fact. It's just, there's one way my social battery just kind of dies down. I feel a bit depleted going into like the next year. But this year was different. This year I designated December my month of rest and relaxation. Now, for those of you who have read the book by Otessa Moshfegh, or is it Moshfegh? You're probably wondering, this girl, you were doing drugs, you were trying to force yourself into a coma. I was not. It was nothing as extreme as that, I can assure you. Quick aside, I'll just say, if you haven't read the book, My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh, it is an interesting read and I would definitely recommend. In fact, I think I'm going to reread it this year. I would definitely recommend, but that's by the way. As I was saying, I made the intentional decision in December to just relax, stop, smell the proverbial roses, if you will. I mean, last year was a continuous high for me. Activity. There was final year projects, final year activities, graduation, work. So like, I just chose to go low in December. I chose to just calm down, chill. I cut out social media almost completely. Like I was just logged off. Then I kept myself indoors as much as possible, except for like going to church and a few errands I couldn't escape from. I was watching a lot of movies on my laptop, TV. I was sleeping for hours at a stretch. In fact, sometimes I'll go on and off, sleep till morning, wake up, eat, sleep in the afternoon, wake up again. And I was eating a whole lot. I was eating like a thief. Like my mother can testify. I think partly this decision had to do with the fact that my sister was away from us this Christmas. This is like our first Christmas apart, my sister and I, ever, and it was a bit of a downer for me. No, it was a major downer for me because we're super close. Anyone that knows me knows that. Maybe if she was around, she would have convinced me to go a few places. I don't know, probably yes, she would have had places she wanted us to go. But still, it worked out for me, as all things always do, and I didn't misuse this opportunity to the glory of God. I stayed inside my house eating and sleeping and watching and rewatching classics. I watched The Holiday. I watched Swing Kids for the first time and I loved it. I also wrote like reviews on Letterboxd, but I later deleted some. And of course, I was watching AFCON. How did I not mention AFCON before? There was a lot of AFCON watching for me. I think I watched almost all the group stage matches. One thing about me, people that know me, is I'm going to turn up for sports whenever I can. Football, basketball, occasionally tennis or even UFC. Like, I just get so into them. I love to watch, whether on TV or even live. Like, at school, I used to always go and root for my teams and stuff. But I do not have a single athletic bone in my body. Like, I see sports are not my thing. I am not fast enough. I don't have the speed. I don't have the stamina. I don't even have the coordination for sports. See, I don't know how to explain it. Most people that see me be like, oh, like you look so fit. You look, I don't mean to brag. Oh, you look so fit. You probably do sports. I do not. I just like to watch and cheer and yell. And you know what? Somebody might laugh or scoff at this, but I think that's a sign that I'll marry an athlete. That's the thing. For years, in fact, since I was much young, I've had it in my mind, in my heart. I will marry an athlete. I won't elaborate because I know some of you will start to laugh at me since you haven't seen the vision, but that's your business. That's by the way. So, AFCON and chill. Okay, it wasn't just AFCON. I'm also going to confess that I had like a spell of binge watching all the Real Housewives shows on E. Maybe Bravo, they've changed the name. Real Housewives of London, Real Housewives of Potomac, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm not even proud of myself, but hey, I was following them. The drama was just sucking me in, but don't judge me. I was on a break. It wasn't my proudest moment, but I was on a break. Anyway, I've been ranting about my break enough, but what's the takeaway? I came out of Christmas week and December as a whole unscathed. Well-fed, glowing, okay, a bit too dry and flaky. That's a story for another day. I'm properly rested. Like, my social battery is not depleted. My emotional pendulum is stable. And best of all, my spiritual gauge is high. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel great going into this year. Was it easy? For the most part, yes. Because like I said, I was chilling and relaxing. But not all through. I'm a movie buff of sorts, and there were so many amazing movies that came out this season. There was like that Avatar movie, there was Marty Supreme, which I really looked forward to, and I had planned to go and see at least one or two of them in the cinema when they were released, but I had to restrain myself. Like, I had to stop myself even though I wanted to go. Also, I passed up on going to see my grandma, like my own grandma, my cousins, family, friends, not because I didn't want to see all these people. I mean, I love my family, but I just told myself, like, I'm going to stay in the house. It was a decision I had taken to just stay put in the house. If it's not church or something urgent or major, I'm going to stay in the house. And I saw it through. My point is, sometimes you need to rest. Force yourself to rest. Just turn everything off. One of my friends and mentors, somebody I look up to, she does this thing where for the last few days of every year, she goes away on retreats, like no phone or limited phone, no social media, minimal work, minimal contact with the outside world for a few days. Like, you can hardly reach her. Just a period to refresh herself, a period to just recover herself, and I love it for her. See, now you may not be able to go away somewhere special on retreat. I know you may not be able to afford it. God knows I couldn't afford that. But you can make do at home like me. I know what you're thinking. In which house? My parents will not let me rest. Guy, I know. In fact, with my sister away this holiday, I feel like my name was called like 2-3 times more than usual. That can be annoying and mess with your vibe. But you can work around it. Because rest is not like the absence of work or activity, but it is first a mental state of choosing not to exert yourself too much. Judith Yusuf, 2026. In fact, I'll say it again, just to sound badass. Rest is not the absence of work or activity. It is first a mental state of choosing not to exert yourself too much. Quote me anywhere. Ha! You can be gymming regularly, you can be doing your house chores and still be in a state of rest. Which brings me to my last point. My month of rest and relaxation is not over. Nope, far from it. In fact, I'm carrying it forward into 2026. My year of rest and relaxation. Take it further. My life of rest and relaxation. Because I've come to understand now that rest is actually about finding balance. Yes, working is important. We work to make a living. We work to survive. Work to, achieve everything that we've planned for ourselves. But like, we can't forget to take breaks. Don't forget to take breaks and recover yourself. You don't have to vacation for 3 months in Ibiza or like spend 2 weeks in one fancy Airbnb outside town. Nah, 1 hour every day. Just take a break from all the working, hustling, lie in your bed, listen to music, watch your favorite shows, call your best friend, just chat for several minutes, take a stroll, or even just sleep. You have to force yourself to pause work, pause socializing if you're like me and socializing drains you. Pause worrying. In fact, our generation is just hung up on a lot of activity. Even doom scrolling is stressful, but we don't even realize because we just think, I know I'm just sitting in one place and scrolling. That is stressful. I know rest can look like different things to different people. Some people feel like, okay, playing video games for me is resting. Maybe I just leave my work and focus and play video games for a while. And some people just want to even dress up and go to a nice restaurant to eat. To them, that's rest, even though personally I'm more dressing up and going out rest. But to each their own. Some people want to curl up in bed with a book, like I'm just going to read, relax. And some of us just want to sleep. Like, to some people, rest is sleep. Sleep equals rest. Rest equals sleep. The bottom line is that you just have to find what rest looks like for you and work it into your life. I'm saying monthly, weekly, daily, if you can. Take time to rest. Plan rest into your routine. People will plan out, like I'll plan my work, I'll plan working out, I'll plan cooking, I'll plan when I'll do laundry. Some people even plan out time to like hang out with their friends, time to clean their houses, time to go to church, time for evangelism. Add rest to those plans. Yes, be intentional about it. Intentionality is always key. That's how I survived December 2025, and that is how I plan to survive 2026 and all the years ahead. My pastor said this some weeks ago. I'll say this and leave it with you. When you rest, God works. Now, I don't know about you, but God's work rate would definitely be a huge upgrade from my own, and it would make all the difference in my life. When you rest, God works. So, basically, you cannot be dragging work with God. Now, I'm not saying this to encourage idleness, please, but I know nobody can even think that. But I'm saying that overly stressing yourself, overly being worked up about things, it doesn't really solve anything in the long run. You have to take time to rest. Even God rested. 2026, my year of rest and relaxation. I'm inviting you to make 2026 your year of rest and relaxation too. Nobody is saying don't lock in. I'm definitely not opposed to locking in. In fact, I've added Queen of Locking In to my titles. More on that in another episode. Anyway, welcome to 2026 again, my precious listeners. I hope you've missed hearing me as much as I've missed talking to you. One of my New Year resolutions is to be more consistent with episodes with this podcast, and I will do my best. Episodes will continue to drop bi-weekly. That's every 2 Tuesdays. Please interact on social media. Like my posts, share your thoughts on Instagram at A Little with Jude Podcast or via email alittlewithjudepodcast@gmail.com. The Twitter account is no longer active as a result of a decision that I'll probably explain in the future, but we don't have Twitter for now, just Instagram. So like our post on Instagram, repost. Anyway, thank you for listening. Recommend this podcast to a friend or loved one, anyone that you think will enjoy listening to. Not necessarily listening to the sound of my voice, but maybe hearing what I have to say. Have a great day. Have a great week. Happy New Year again. Bye.